In this Excel assignment, we need to use Excel functions to estimate the cost function for utility costs using 3 separate independent variables. Then we'll prepare scatter graphs for each of our independent variables along with the dependent variable utility cost. And on each scatter graph, we'll include a trend line that has the cost equation in R². We'll select the 2 independent variables with the strongest explanatory power and then prepare a multiple linear regression. And finally, using that multiple linear regression, we will predict our total cost for the month if we produce 5,000 units in 25 batches. Let's go ahead and use Excel functions to estimate our cost function for each of our independent variables. We're going to estimate the cost function for utility cost, considering units as our independent variable, then machine hours, and finally batches. Let's begin with our Excel functions. Our Excel function to estimate the slope, if you don't remember, we can invoke the function wizard, hit the FX key. Under statistical, we'll come down to slope, select slope. Our known y's, that's our utility cost. Our known x's, that's our units. Hit OK, and we have an estimated slope of 1.06. So the variable component of our utility cost is $1.06 per unit produced. Our intercept, our function wizard, come down to intercept. And again, this is under the statistical category. Intercept, OK. Our known y's, utility cost. Our known x's, again units. And we have a fixed component of our monthly utility cost of $1,833 in terms of overall explanatory power, the R², FX, come down to R², OK, our known y's, again utility cost, and we were predicting our utility cost using units. The explanatory power of our regression is roughly 70%, so units give us a pretty good explanatory power of our overall unit utility cost. For machine hours, if you remember the function, we can type in equals SLOPE parentheses. Notice the pop-up box, our known y's, we are predicting our utility cost. I'm going to hit the F4 key right now and put $ in front of the column and rows to anchor them. I'm going to want to copy that across to the next column for batches in a few minutes. My known x's, my machine hours, close parentheses, and the variable component per machine hour is roughly $17.78. My intercept equals INTERCEPT parentheses, and I could come up and invoke my function wizard if I want in my known y's. Right there, and again, F4 to anchor them. My x's, machine hours, and the intercept is $1,287. Finally, the R² equals RSQ, parenthesis, my known y's, utility cost, F4 to anchor, comma, my known x's, machine hours, and machine hours provide an explanatory power of about 43% of our utility costs can be explained by changes in machine hours. Because I anchored my references to utility cost in all of my formulas, I can just drag it across and I have estimates using batches. Let's go ahead now and prepare our scatter graph. Highlight our units, hold down the control key, highlight our utility cost, go to Insert, Scatter Graph, and I've got my scatter graph. Right click on a data point, add a trend line, and we do have a linear regression, and we want to display the equation on the chart and the R². I can get rid of my legend over there. I want to make sure I add a title so I know which one this is. I can go to Layout up top, Chart Title, centered above. This was units. And I can then move my equations right up there. Notice My intercept, 1,833. It's what I got with the Excel function. My slope, 1.06. And my R-square of 70%. Do the same thing for batches and utility costs, so we should have 3 charts on your homework assignment you turn in. In terms of our multiple linear regression, it appears as though our units have, along with our batches, have the strongest explanatory power. So I'll use those 2 items in my multiple linear regression. Let's go ahead and do that. Again, data analysis. If you don't have the data analysis tool pack, you're going to need to add it. You can go to the Office button, Excel options, add-ins, various analysis tool pack, hit go. We would select the top one, the analysis tool pack, and hit OK. So then using it, data analysis, we want our regression. Our utility cost is our Y range. Notice I included the label this time because I want my regression output to have some labels. My X input range, we were going to predict it using units. I'm highlighting that, the control key, and then batches. I'll put the output right down in here in cell B24, and I'll hit OK. And it tells me my input range must be a contiguous reference. I can't have machine hours in here in between. So let's do this again. Let's hit cancel. Now instead of deleting this column, because I want to see it on your homework, go ahead and copy this to another worksheet tab. Highlight your entire tab, Control C is copy. Move to a blank worksheet, Control V up in cell A1, paste. Now I can delete machine hours and I can run my regression. Data analysis, regression. Okay, my input range was utility cost. My independent variable is units along with batches. I have included labels. Output range, sure, we can put it down here below on B4. We'll hit OK. And there is our summary output. We've got an R-square of 83.5%. We're explaining roughly 84% of the variability in our utility cost by examining changes in units and batches. My y-intercept is 1,878. My slope coefficient for units is roughly 69 cents. My slope coefficient for batches is roughly $47.54. My cost equation is y equals 1,878 times 0.689 times units plus 47.54 times batches. My estimated cost then for 5,000 units and 25 batches would be equals my intercept plus 5,000 units times 69 cents a unit plus 25 batches times $47 per batch. And there's my estimated cost for the month. It would be $6,513.